Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today, story is about how children spend a lot of their time working out the issues of their parents. It's a story from Norway, and it's called The 12 Wild Ducks. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a queen, and it was very cold, and she went outside, and so this is Norway, she went on a sleigh. While she was going on that sleigh, her nose started to bleed, and she dropped pure red blood in the white snow. And when she looked, she stopped, and she looked at that. She said, "Oh, if only I had a daughter who was as white as this snow, with lips as red as this blood. I wouldn't care about my 12 sons anymore." And rarely, no, she had spoken those words. And then a troll hag, this is a female troll are sort of magical creatures in Norway, said, "You will have a daughter, and she will be as white as snow with lips as red as that blood. You can keep your sons until she is christened," which is, about 6 years old. "And then her sons will belong to me." The mother said, "Okay." So a year later, this beautiful princess was born, and everybody was happy and rejoiced. And when the princess was christened, the boys became wild ducks, and all 12 of them flew away and were never seen again. Now this princess grew up, and as she grew up, as she became bigger, as she became a teenager, she was 15, 16 years old, she was often really unhappy, and her mom says, "Daughter, what is the matter? Tell me." And she says, "Well, all my friends have brothers and sisters, and I don't have any, so I'm lonely." And then the mother says, "Well, you also have 12 sons, 12 brothers, but I gave them up for you." And then she told the daughter that story, how it went. And then the daughter felt terrible because she felt that this was all her fault. So nothing could console her. And she left the palace, and she walked and walked and walked because she just wanted to deal with this issue, the issue of her mother. And so she walked and walked and walked in the forest, and you didn't know that girl could walk, but she walked as far and far and far for days and days. She wandered. And then one night when she slept in the forest, she had this dream that there was a sort of a narrow path that went deep into the forest, and if she followed that path, she would come out in a log cabin, and her brothers lived there. Sure enough, the next morning she woke up and she saw that path just like in a dream, and she went on it, and she arrived at that log cabin, and nobody was there. And when she went in, she saw there were 12 beds, there were 12 chairs, there were 12 dishes on the table, and she said, "This must be the place where my brothers live." And she was happier than ever before. Now the mother had given all the sons each a silver spoon, and she had given an identical spoon also to the daughter, to all her children. Now the girl came there at this log cabin where her brothers lived, and she cooked for them, and she put the stove on, made it nice and warm, and she ate her fill, and then she went to sleep under the youngest brother's bed. The brothers come home, and it's like they were ducks, and then ducks in the daytime, and the moment they crossed the threshold of the cabin in the evening, they became princes again. So they said, "Oh, whoever warmed this place, this is really nice." And so they ate, and then there was one spoon extra they saw, because the girl had forgotten her spoon after her meal. And she says, "That spoon It's exactly the same. That must be our sister. And the oldest brother says, if the spoon is here, the sister must be here. And if the sister is here, she's the cause of all our problems. We must kill her. And the youngest brother said, no, of course not. If it's anybody's fault, it's our mother's, definitely not hers. And they looked everywhere for her, and they found her under the bed of the youngest brother. And again, the oldest brother said, she must be killed. And she said, no, please, I have wanted for years to put this right, yeah? And so what can I do to put this right? And the princess says, well, there is something you can do. You have to find thistledown. That's sort of a crop from which you can make yarn. And you must spin it and then weave it into 12 caps, 12 scarves, and 12 shirts for us. While you do this, you may not speak, you may not cry, you may not laugh. If you do that, then we will be freed. We will be ourselves again. And the princess says, okay. And she did that. But where do I find that thistledown? And they showed her where to find it. Not far from there. Huge amount, as far as eyes could see. And so she immediately set to work, and she did this every day for many, 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 many months. And in the meantime, she would take as much as she could care of her brothers. Now, when she was almost done, one day she was picking thistledown, and the king from that area, which happened to be a young, handsome king, saw her and said, oh my God, who is this beautiful girl? And he wanted to take her to the castle, but she would not talk. She would not answer him. And then he said to his assistant, please take her on a horse. And she did everything that she could without talking, or crying, to stop them. She pointed to the bags that she had already finished. And so they said, okay, so the prince, the king actually, he understood what she meant. He said, okay, take all those bags along too. And the princess then calmed down because she felt that she was understood. And he was very kind, very nice looking and all of that. He came home, this young king, and he had a stepmother who almost, standard proverbially, I would say, was a very mean woman. And she didn't like that princess at all. She was beautiful, and she had taken the heart of her stepson. But her stepson totally ignored her and said, I'm going to marry this girl. And so he did. They married, but she never stopped, sewing for her brothers. She never said a word. She gave birth to a son, and the the stepmother, got so angry and jealous that she at night came and took the kid away and put the kid in the snake pit, a sort of trash with snakes in it, and cut the finger of the princess and smeared the blood all over her face and said to her son, look what your queen has done. She's a witch. She's eaten her own babies. And the king said, well, that may be true, but I don't think she will do it again. But this happened 3 times. Second time, the king also forgave her. The third time, there was a lot of pressure on him to basically do something and execute her, put her on a pole and burn her like they did in those days. And so she was sentenced like that. And so as the execution was about to happen, there was a pile of wood burning, and the queen kept saying, the stepmother kept saying, throw her, she's a witch. And she had given signs, the princess, to put up 12 boards, and she hung everything that she had. She had finished everything except for the youngest brother. One sleeve was not ready. And she had put up those boards and she hung all those clothing on there. And as soon as she had done that, then her brothers came and picked it up. And just a little later, they rode up in on horses, fine princes. And then the boy said, "What?" The princess said, "What's going on here?" And the king said, "Well, I have to burn my wife because she has eaten my children." And the princess said, "No, she has not done that." And then the princess said, the princess said, "You have saved us, now save yourself." And so then she talked, and she told the whole story to the king about how the stepmother had come and, taken the baby, etc., and all of that. So, and the princess took the king to the snake pit, and there they were, 3 children, all strong and alive, playing with little snakes. And so, of course, the stepmother was punished, and everybody rejoiced and was happy, because not only had the princess was still there, alive, but also she had freed all her brothers. She has dealt with the issue that her mother basically gave her.